In today's car world, there's influx of EVs that look like a NASA side project. There's one manufacturer that's taken it back to basics, because this is the all-new Suzuki e-Vitara, Suzuki's first entry into the EV market. And although it sounds like an Italian opera, I think there's something so charming about this electric SUV, because it's simple but effective, and it does that classic Suzuki thing that it just works. But can it compete in a world of Tesla tantrums, Kia EV6 flexing, and Volvo Recharge righteousness? Let's find out. First, let's address the battery-powered elephant in the room, the e-Vitara's design, because this isn't some futuristic spaceship on wheels. There's no excessive LED light bars or cyberpunk edges. Suzuki have gone safe. They've gone for that refined, simple but effective look, and also familiar. And I think it works, because how often do we see a new EV come out that just looks like a regular combustion engine SUV? Sometimes people don't want an overly designed, hipster-looking EV that wouldn't look out of place at Milan Fashion Week. Sometimes we want something that looks like a car. This does, and I love it. With the e-Vitara, you get 18-inch alloy wheels across the range. Opt for the Ultra, and you'll be rolling in style on 19s. These are rather classy, but not in your face. If these were a pair of shoes, they'd be your best brogues. Simple but effective, but make a statement. And that statement piece is also reflected in the interior with glass roof and sunshade, 10.25-inch digital dash and 10.1-inch infotainment screen. So you get that premium touch. And that premium touch won't come at a premium price tag, because the e-Vitara starts at just over £26,000. And across all 5 specs, you're still getting adaptive cruise control, lane keep assist, 10.1-inch infotainment screen with wireless Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, rear view camera, everything that you need to be comfortable and safe out on the road. And as for those 5 trim levels, well, let me break them down for you in true top of the pops chart rundown fashion. Coming in at just over 26,000 is the base spec, the Motion. Great value, offering rear view camera, safety features in abundance, keyless entry and alloy wheels. Up next, the Motion with larger 61 kWh battery, more range, more performance and more features. Heated seats and steering wheel, making it a perfect contender for the winter months, but could it make Christmas #1? Middle of the pack, it's the first entry for Suzuki's all-wheel drive, all-grip E powertrain, coming in at just over 31,000. Extra torque, extra horsepower, extra driving modes. And just missing out on the top spot is the first entry for the Ultra spec at just over 32,000. Larger wheels, wireless phone charging, sunroof, and now 360 parking cameras. And claiming the top spot, it's the Ultra all-grip E at 34,000. All-wheel drive, the top performer, and full kit of premium features. You might think that £34,000 is a bit steep for a Suzuki model, but this is no ordinary Suzuki. This is one that plugs in and goes 0 to 60 faster than your mother-in-law's mood. Because although the e-Vitara doesn't look like a stereotypical high-performing car, it is to some degree, only slightly. Because if you opt for that top spec, the Ultra all-grip E all-wheel drive version, housing that larger 61 kWh battery, then you get a 0 to 60 time of 7.4 seconds. And obviously with it being an EV, then you get pretty good torque off the line. It's rather responsive in that sense, and that's obviously helped by the fact that it houses an all-wheel drive powertrain. The mid-specs with that larger battery, you're going to get 0 to 60 in around 8.6 seconds. Opt for the smaller 49 kWh battery and you're going to get around about 9.5 seconds 0 to 60. Kind of your typical Suzuki of old, nothing really impressive or exciting about that. So then performance times are kind of like the normal Vitara, kind of like the S-Cross. It's nothing mind-blowing on paper, but with the added addition of an electric powertrain, means that pulling out of junctions feels a lot quicker than a typical Suzuki SUV. As for mile range, well, this varies anywhere between 213 on the smaller battery, going up to 264 on the larger. Opt for an all-wheel drive version, and because that houses more performance, houses that trail driver mode, then that reduces the mile range only by about 15 to 20, so you're going to get about 245. So 264 for a top mile range for an EV that's around about the £29,000 mark isn't exactly mind-blowing, but I think it's still rather good value for money, because 264 for daily commutes, for work trips, even if you're on a long road trip, is more than enough. As for charging, well, it's not exactly as fast and powerful as its driving experience, because you can get from 10 to 80% in 45 minutes using a fast charger, which, if I'm being truthfully honest, is probably one of the slowest rapid charging speeds on the UK car market. Would be nicer if it was around about the 25-30 minute mark, but I suppose 10 to 80% if you are going for a long drive in 45 minutes isn't exactly the end of the world. You can have a coffee, you can have a bite to eat, and you can get enough to get you to the next charging station or your destination. As for the actual driving experience, and again, it still feels like a combustion engine SUV. It doesn't feel like an EV in any sense of the word, apart from that bit more pull off the line when you go at junctions, when you go around roundabouts. Then it still just drives how you'd expect a car to drive. There's nothing about this interior driving experience that's confusing. It's all quite simplistic for the infotainment, digital dash, actually the design and the space, and also how you access your adaptive cruise control and lane keep assist settings. They're on the right column of your steering wheel, regular buttons, you don't have to go to the infotainment screen, all rather straightforward. And I think that's what I like most about the e-Vitara, because it's not overly complicated. It's not going to require you to watch 2 hours of YouTube tutorials whilst also reading the driver's manual for an entire week. You can get in, get on your way, and still benefit from all the safety features whilst not having to sit on your drive and constantly go through this infotainment screen. Because that's straightforward. The controls are straightforward. You have old school dials. It's the type of car that would almost be the perfect EV startup, because you get a usable mile range, you get a fairly usable recharge time in an interior that isn't going to overwhelm you. As for safety kit, well, it is loaded. From the base spec, you get multiple driving modes, rear view camera, adaptive cruise control, lane keep assist, blind spot detection, hill start function, hill descent control, everything you can think of. And if you go for the all-wheel drive version, then you also get trail mode, which is an off-road setting for this electric four-wheel drive system that helps a vehicle get unstuck from difficult terrain by automatically applying the brakes to spinning wheels and redirecting power to wheels with grip. It functions in the same essence to a limited slip differential, improving traction and control on slippery surfaces like mud, snow or loose gravel. As for the interior, and it's exactly what you'd expect from Suzuki. Clean, practical and surprisingly techy, because you get 10-way power adjustable seating depending on your spec, heated seats and steering wheel, digital dash, infotainment screen and of course wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. And I feel like the interior perfectly complements the exterior design rather well, in the fact that it doesn't feel like I'm sat in an EV. It's not overly worked, it's not overly in your face in terms of so many different segments, so many lights and text and screens thrown in your face. It just looks like a practical SUV, and I think sometimes the car market needs that more. I don't want so many gizmos and different quirks of an interior that ultimately just bumps the price up. Give me something that looks good, is practical and has everything that you need. And the Evitara certainly provides that, because plenty of space and storage in this floating centre module, 2 cup holders, a nice slot to house your phone. Depending on your spec, you will get a wireless phone charging pad, your automatic gear selector perfectly in the middle with your multiple driver modes and also the trail mode. You also get a deep pocket in your centre console, and I just think design on the dashboard looks a bit Land Rover, don't you think? The way it's this different pattern with them bulky air vents across the front. As I said, there isn't really much design features. It's only really that, the different segments on the door, that slight ambient lighting around your door handle, and slight different patterns on the seats and the shape. It doesn't feel like a cheap car, but at the same time it doesn't feel overly premium. It's that perfect sweet spot, which feels value for money, and ultimately just very Suzuki, but it still looks good. And what I also love that really adds to that practicality is old school controls for climate controls. Yes, you can change it on the infotainment screen, but if you don't want to reach across, then easily. Fan speed, temperatures, all very practical. The only thing that's slightly annoying is the heated steering wheel and heated seats. Yes, you get this nice little animation when it spins round, but sometimes if you have it on and you go, oh, my bum is absolutely roasting, and you weren't on that certain section, it takes you a few seconds to get it on, then you got to press seat, then off. It's not the most streamlined process, and I think that's where the Evitara almost falls down, is this infotainment screen. It does feel rather basic, has everything you need, so it don't really take away from the driving experience, because it has wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, which you'd probably use every second of every drive. But the actual Suzuki infotainment isn't the best, and especially the reversing camera isn't the most high quality out there. I mean, it's there, you can use it, but it's definitely not HD. As for the rear seats, and although the Evitara isn't necessarily a large SUV, I feel like it slots perfectly into the mid-size category with its exterior dimensions. It's actually rather spacious and comfortable in the rear seats, and I feel like it would make a perfect family car with that rather usable mile range, decent performance and safety features you get from standard. Added to that, the space and comfort in the back, ISOFIX points either side, USB-C ports at the back, then kids, teenagers, even young adults feel like it fit comfortably in here. And with it being an all-electric vehicle, it houses a completely flat floor, which means even middle passengers still have a decent amount of leg room. The only concern about the back is storage, because there's not even pockets on both sides. There's one this side, but not this, which is a bit strange. You only get a little pocket down here. You get all right pockets in the doors. You have a little slot there that a lot of cars do that only really would house a pair of keys or some spare change. Never really know what that's for. You could probably get a water bottle down there. Apart from that, isn't really much storage. The seat's same style as the front. Nothing blows my mind about the rear seats of this car, but I don't have too many complaints. More storage would be nice, but it's practical, and I think it fits the Evitara rather well. Although the interior of this all-electric SUV offers plenty of comfort and practicality, the way it utilises that space to really give you a good driving experience. What I am slightly disappointed in is its main storage compartment, its boot capacity, because it houses up to 310 litres. That's with the rear seats folded up. Now, as for them rear seats, they can actually recline to enhance that comfort for rear passengers even more. And if them rear seats were reclined to its furthest capacity, then that boot space reduces even more to only 244 litres. And I just think for a car of this size to have anywhere between 244 and 310 litres is slightly disappointing. Now, if it was just two of you and you folded that rear seats down, then you can actually get around about 550 litres, so you get a good amount of storage there. Now, as for the actual design of the back, and I said with the Evitara, there isn't any overly designed quirks. There isn't any futuristic LED light bars. I'd tell a lie, there is one at the back. There's a slight one that goes across, but again, it's not in your face. It doesn't look like a NASA side project. It still looks like a regular car. And I think what massively helps that is the plastic bumper, which are replicated at the front. Also, it looks like a Suzuki. It looks like a regular car. And I think it's an EV that the UK car market has been missing. So then, what's the verdict to the all-new Suzuki e-Vitara? What it is not trying to reinvent the EV world. It's not overly flashy, it's not smug, it's not trying to park itself while doing yoga poses. It's spacious, it's simple, yet effective. It's the type of car for people who want to make the switch to EV without making it their whole personality. And if you want to find out more about the all-new Suzuki e-Vitara, take it for a test drive, or even any of its Suzuki counterparts, then contact Glyn Hopkin Suzuki.